Hey guys, welcome back to Sports Tea. How's everybody doing? So sorry that I'm behind today, by the way. Let's see. So tonight we have a really good show. We are going to talk about LeBalco Gate. If anybody remembers LeBron, he was accused, or not necessarily accused, but it came out that there was a biogenesis investigation against him. So I'm not sure if anyone remembers that. I mean, it was pretty bad. So it LeBron's I would say that these allegations they're difficult to talk about, right? I think that a lot of people don't really want to address this, and I think that there's nothing wrong with addressing this as long as we're not saying that LeBron is doing something wrong, because we just don't know. So, I am going to dive into the drug test that Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Anthony Edwards had to take directly after winning gold medals with Team USA. Before we get into that, if everyone can do me a favor and please like the video, subscribe to Sports Tea, and feel free to let me know how you're feeling. And, if you think that LeBron um, should have been the one to be drug tested. Anthony Edwards, he made an appearance on the Boardroom Live with Kevin Durant and Jalen Rose. During this interview, Ant-Man revealed that they couldn't enjoy their win. They couldn't enjoy this gold medal win because essentially they needed to get drug tested right away. So I'm going to play the soundbite for you, and let me know what you think.
To the gold medal, I'm not gonna lie. Me and him had a what they call it, a drug test. We had a drug test. Yeah. We couldn't even really celebrate in the locker room for real, because me, him, and Steph had to take like a drug test or something.
It's only right they gave Steph one. When he closed that deal.
After the
I mean, I know that was really short, but Anthony Edwards is like, they had to take a drug test or something. Like, he didn't know what that meant. I thought that was funny. They had to he's like, what do you call it? A drug test? I mean, that's what it's called. You're getting tested to see if you're using performance enhancement drugs, right? So for me, I was wondering why he actually revealed this. I thought it was interesting. I wondered why he mentioned it at all. What was the reason for that? Nobody would have known unless he brought it up. I mean, it's just hilarious to me that a 40-year-old LeBron James that played the most minutes of everybody wouldn't be getting drug tested instead. 40 years old, playing max minutes, high scoring, dunking the ball, moving like we've never seen a 40-year-old do in the NBA. Does it make sense to you guys that he wouldn't be tested if he's doing all these like amazing things, jumping out of the gym at 40? And we're saying that we've never seen anyone do this before. He's playing at the highest level ever. He's playing better than most people in the league. Why wouldn't he get the test? It's definitely, to me, mysterious. It's mysterious at best. So, how did LeBron somehow escape a drug test after an Olympic performance that he had that made him the MVP? So LeBron was MVP throughout the Olympic series. So why didn't he get a test? It's very elusive, right? So, and for me, we can go back, right? Because there's been a lot of rumors about LeBron using performance enhancement drugs. I mean, he hasn't been able to escape these rumors. They've been going on at least, I want to say, since 2014 into 2015 season. That's when it started. And I can show you guys, like, let's see. They were talking about it on First Take. I remember years ago that LeBron looked like this. So he's pretty skinny there. And this was after the 2014 season. So 2014 headed into 2015. This is what he looked like. Maybe he was, a little bit down after losing in the finals. That makes sense. I could see how someone could lose a lot of weight. Me personally, when I'm stressed out, when I'm feeling bad, I'll lose weight. I'll lose weight, I'll run back and forth to the bathroom in stressed out moments. So I get that. That happens to me. I don't gain, I lose. But Max Kellerman brought this up back then. I think it was 2015. Let's hear what he had to say.
Better than anybody in the history of the NBA. When you played as many seasons as LeBron, let's not forget, straight out of high school, he's playing a full slate. They didn't take it easy on him in terms of the minutes like they did on Kobe. They gave him, he was carrying the load. The minute his foot hit the ground in the NBA, he was off and running. And this is a bunch of seasons. What is it, 14 now? I mean, it's like when you think of the older players, they were 36, 37 years old, 38 years old by the time they played the minutes that LeBron James has played. And those are rough minutes. Now, this season, I've been saying since the beginning, given that fact, I don't care how you take care of your body, or rather, one of the ways you take care of your body, the fact that LeBron James has taken very few games off this season, not like last season, 2 seasons ago, when he mysteriously in the offseason lost like 30 pounds of muscle mass and didn't look the same, didn't play the same. Paleo diet.
Paleo diet, Stephen A is saying in the background. He was that skinny, and within a 2-week period of time came back looking very brolic. This was a big discussion in sports at that time, and that's what Max is referencing, like how he mysteriously came back looking like the Incredible Hulk. That was the story. And to me, I've seen athletes do really incredible, amazing things. And, throughout my lifetime that I've been watching basketball, I kind of always assumed that there was some sort of performance enhancement drugs that, star athletes are using. So in track, you see it all the time. It's an unspoken thing that everyone is doing something. EPO, it's going to make you, you last longer, you'll have more endurance. But generally HGH is used to heal faster, especially as you're getting older. Those injuries that, that might nag you for a little bit longer, take longer to heal, they'll heal much faster when you're using performance enhancements. So, I think that, like I said, it's really interesting that Anthony Edwards had really 2 great games out of 6 in the Olympics. Steph Curry, he delivered a godlike experience in the last 2 performance in the last 2, games of the Olympics, yet they were tested. And we're saying that LeBron was the MVP of the Olympics and that he performed the best. And he's 40 years old. So why wasn't he tested? It doesn't add up. And then with all the allegations that have surrounded his career, it seems very suspicious. It seems like there could have been a potential cover up or a potential like, hey, we're not going to test this person. So, and again, I'm not sure. I'm not saying that for sure LeBron is doing anything in this realm, but these are the rumors. And I think that it's interesting that no one's talking about it. And he's been playing for so long. There's the idea that he can't retire because this is going to come out. So, I am curious to hear what everybody thinks about this and, why you think that LeBron escaped the testing in the first place. Do you think it's suspicious at all? And, how, if this should come out, what do we think is actually going to happen? I mean, are LeBron fans suddenly going to turn on him? I don't think so. Because, to me, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know that there's anything so wrong if this is a rampant thing happening and it's just unspoken. So I'm not here to judge LeBron if he is doing it, because there's the idea that maybe Michael Jordan was doing it, that other big stars have, that this is a culture. This is just part of the culture. If you're a big star, at some point, you're going to turn to some sort of performance enhancement drug. They say that he went to Germany, I think where Kobe went. He's worked with people that are tied to, these to drugs. He's tied to people who are, connected to Balco performance enhancements, and this has been back to 2013. And there was an investigation. So there's an investigation that it came out in 2023 that there was an investigation surrounding this, and it was an investigation for 2013. And that's really interesting because obviously he was with the Miami Heat. That's when the rumors started to heat up and to begin to take traction. So again, this is a really interesting topic. Kevin Durant, he played great basketball throughout the series. And I'm fine with Team USA giving these players a test, but it's just hilarious that the guy people are accusing of taking it and have been accusing of taking it for years isn't the one in question. It could be totally random, but still, LeBron is always able to escape this particular topic. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't address it. The media doesn't really address it or say anything about it. And it just seems like this is something that's either being covered up by the NBA or Nike or both. I mean, he's been accused of this for a while. So he also, I know that back in Miami, he underwent some surgery for a mass that was in his face, and they call that the steroid jaw. I'll show it to you guys if anybody remembers this. Steroid jaw. That's what they're calling that. So, we all saw these famous photos of LeBron losing 30 pounds. We heard about the mass being removed. He, underwent that surgery. He came back in 2 weeks, and, he's just, like I said, looking like the Incredible Hulk. So you guys remember some of this. So earlier in the playoffs, every media outlet is reporting about his spectacular play in year 21 and how he's been able to play at such a high level. And there's been several moments just like over the course of his career where we're talking about his longevity, how he's been able to play at such a high level. But there's always been these questions, and we're all wondering how it's been possible for him to do this for so long. Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, two NBA legends that I've enjoyed watching so much, but while they were playing basketball as well as after, they were having a conversation on KG Certified. The original video is literally nowhere to be found. Okay. And I find that to be really interesting. Why is that? But I want to play this short clip for you. And it's basically KG and Paul Pierce. They're discussing LeBron. It was pretty shocking when this happened a few months ago. I think it kind of broke the internet. One moment.
Ronnie get a bucket on Bron right now?
Yeah, he can get a bucket on Bron right now.
Nope.
Yeah, he can get a bucket.
No way. Nope.
Now he can get a bucket on
Bron
his dad
averaging
right now.
25.
No, I didn't say he ain't. I don't care what he's doing, but he ain't sliding, playing at that defensive level.
25. No. Lord, 25. Lord, he dunking. He's still dunking the ball with.
I'm saying that Bronny can get a bucket on Bron.
I'm saying he can't. One rollout, get a bucket.
3 dribbles?
No way. I'm talking
he
about.
can get a bucket on.
No.
Man, come on, that little dude explosive, bro.
He is, but you seen his dad? His dad on that balcony. He on that new juice.
He ain't sliding like he used to, bro.
Oh man, I don't know why it makes me laugh so hard every single time I hear Kevin Garnett speak. He's just so he's animated. He's classic masculine guy. I really miss him playing in the NBA. We just need more people like him. But anyway, he's on that new juice. Come on, he's on that new juice, that Balco. Paul Pierce, he didn't really flinch when he said this, which was interesting to me. But he also didn't really say much, which let me know that he knew what was probably about to happen. He kind of just continued to talk through it or around it. I promise something big happened behind the scenes. It just had to, because the way this video is nowhere to be found all over the internet, it was a big, huge deal, it's also very elusive to me. It's evidence to me. The fact that the video is gone and you can't find the original audio is evidence. About a week later, maybe it was longer than that, but I would say about a week later, Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce started calling LeBron the GOAT for passing Kareem. They went from saying he was soft, never going to be better than MJ, to completely capping, saying that LeBron might be the GOAT. They said they broke him in 2010, but he's the GOAT now. They didn't believe themselves, and God didn't believe them. Kevin Garnett believes that their roles in the media is to move the game forward. He's spoken on this in depth recently. I understand his desire to appreciate what we are seeing in the league now, and also his desire to continue, post-retirement paychecks, right? So he's got to, move with the NBA. He's got to move with these people that he's covering. So, Clutch clearly almost ruined their media careers, and it's too obvious by the 360 they pulled in their opinions. Paul Pierce hates LeBron. We all know that. He didn't somehow just decide to believe that LeBron is the GOAT when he was not so long ago saying that he was the best small forward in his position, that he was better than LeBron. That doesn't just change. I don't believe that. And to me, they both are trying to clean up those Balco accusations that they basically made. He believes that there's no way LeBron could look the way that he does and play as many minutes as he does without the juice. That's obvious to me. What's that guy's name? Shael Sonnen and Victor Conti, the creator of Balco. They've heavily accused LeBron of PED's use. His wife, as well as Richard Mims, who works for him, they're closely connected to the Balco scandal, and somehow LeBron still escapes this. Personally, I'm unsure if LeBron is using PEDs or not. I don't have a strong opinion on it, but if it's true, it will be important for him to retire soon. That's think about Lance Armstrong. Think about what happened to him. He refused to give up the glory of winning in the sport of cycling. What did he win straight? 7 Tour de France's? Crazy. He was addicted to the fame, the recognition, and ultimately the winning. The winning in the sport, he was addicted to that. Almost like drugs, gambling, whatever you want to call it. But EPO, like I said, it's a big deal in sports because it allows players to play longer and heal quicker. So LeBron has been at an advantage if he's actually on that new juice. If LeBron doesn't stop stealing the shine and all the recognition, all the media attention, I suspect that someone is going to try to expose him. People are tired of the media machine and the way Clutch just manipulates the NBA and the media to serve LeBron's GOAT status. Nike will serve LeBron's GOAT status. The NBA will serve, all of these things are just vehicles to serve the status of LeBron being the GOAT. I think that, Nike will try to protect the NBA, as basketball is truly the cornerstone of their brand, and LeBron is one of those cornerstones, and they cannot risk him being exposed. It already happened to Lance Armstrong. It already happened to Justin Gatlin. How many more Nike athletes are going to go down? How many more sports heroes that they've built to be these huge sports heroes are going to go down for performance enhancement drugs? The NBA can't risk it either. They're going to protect him. And they clearly have been, if this is actually true. If they were able to protect Karl Malone from crimes against a 13-year-old girl, then they'll definitely protect LeBron over a little performance enhancement use. From a potential Balco scandal, they're going to protect him if it is true. When the rumors started picking up traction, the speculation was quiet. It wasn't widely reported, obviously. It quickly disappeared, wiped from the internet. LeBron hasn't even clapped back or made any statements about it, which is unlike him because he typically talks about everything and can't help himself. He responds to so many people, even people who don't matter. But he didn't respond to Kevin Garnett, Chael, or anyone else that has lodged these accusations, which I think, again, is interesting and something to talk about. We're seeing the media begin to turn on LeBron, but will he get exposed? Will this story develop further? Like I said, Steph delivers an amazing performance in 2 games. KD consistently a difference maker throughout the series, as he normally is. Ant-Man had 2 great games out of 6. LeBron was the MVP, yet no test for him. Seems very suspicious. What do you guys think about this? I am going to open the phone lines. Take a look at some of the comments here. I know it's late. I'm so sorry, guys, that I got behind. There was something happening in StreamYard. It was just, sorry about that. And, you know, this is only my second live, so thank you for bearing with me and being in the room. And I also, just while I have a moment, I do want to shout out Jeffrey. He's donated to the channel. He's been supporting, and I really, really appreciate him. So thank you so much, Jeffrey. Shout out to you. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you're so far enjoying football season. But thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see. So if no one's going to call, let me pull up some comments. Oh, wow. Getting a call. Good evening, Sports Tea. This is Dominique. Talk to me. Hold on. I'm sorry. For some reason, I can't hear you. One second. I think it was my headphones. I'm here. Can you hear me? Metro PCS. Can everybody else hear the caller? Can I have a thumbs up from somebody in the comments? I don't know why. I'm just not hearing you very clearly. You can, I can hear you, but it's very low, like you're far away. Give me one moment. Yeah, someone's saying that it's low. No, they can't hear you. Let's see what the issue is. I know what the issue is. Sorry, guys. User error.
How about now? Is it still low?
We all can hear you now. Caller, what's your
All
name?
right, yeah. So my name's Ja.
Hi, Ja.
What's happening, Queen? Hey, so my thing is, I'm a Steph fan. All right, been a Steph fan since he was at Davidson, and what I've seen since he entered the league is, if it's not about LeBron, you're not going to get any traction, right? Like anything that LeBron played with Kobe, he played with Steph, he played with all these amazing players, but yet he's the only one that gets the benefit of the doubt in the media. Like every time he loses a championship, there's a caked in reason of why he lost the championship. I didn't have enough help. Oh my God, I didn't play without. I swear to God, I've never seen anybody have so many reasons why they didn't win something because they didn't have no help. Like he literally started a whole culture around not having help, where other people just started to say, "Well, I ain't got no help either." It's crazy. And then they penalized Steph because he was drafted to a team and made it better.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to get the Olympic MVP. He was, because they already had it caked in. LeBron was the savior. He was the leader of the team. Yet he wasn't, though. We all saw with our own eyes. Yes, he's LeBron. He's going to give us what he gives us. But if it wasn't for Steph, if it wasn't for KD, if it wasn't for Ant, where would we be right now?
Right. I mean, I agree. I don't think they win a gold medal without Kevin Durant or Steph Curry. I think they're easily getting a bronze medal.
Easily. And I think LeBron fans, they're not going to be able to believe, even if they prove that he took PEDs, they're going to point to the longevity. They're going to point to, that nobody else has ever done that. Even if he was on PEDs, they wouldn't care. And especially the media that's caked up around him, they wouldn't care. They're still going to push this narrative that somehow, you play how many more years than Jordan and still haven't achieved as much as him. That's the crazy thing I don't think people understand. When Jordan was 40, he was already done. He came back to the game. You still in the league and you still ain't accomplished as much as he's accomplished at his highest height.
Right.
We no longer need a sample size. We no longer need any evidence to know there's you, there's Jordan, there's you. Put whoever you want after that. But this notion that he's the end all be all in the NBA is just crazy.
I agree with you. I think that even if, like you said, if it's to be exposed, somehow it's not going to matter. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time an NBA player was exposed for PEDS use, but it would be the biggest star to be exposed. It would be the first time that, someone of LeBron's stature would have been exposed. So I guess I'm wondering if, do we think that, why do we think that that's part of the reason why LeBron is still playing? The fact that he might be on PEDS, if he is, does he not want to retire because basically the NBA doesn't need him anymore? But to me, I don't think that that's the right way of looking at it, because it still will tarnish the NBA even after he retires if it's exposed. But I do think that if he doesn't retire, that somebody's going to just be upset because they're tired of him taking up all of the recognition and the shine.
So I'm with you in that. So, LeBron, he has clutch sports and he's built up this media empire that's also intersecting with the regular media empire, right? And he has actual people on actual networks just pumping it out for him. He now has his own podcast. So I don't think there's any way his image can be tarnished. There's always going to be somebody that can defend him, that can, fudge his numbers or whatever, because now he has this media company, this media network that he set up where he can massage his image at any point, any time.
Right. Well,
if he was caught on PEDs, then that would mean it would be a cultural thing in the NBA, right? That would mean most of the players are doing it, because if he's one of the leaders in the NBA, would it just be him doing it, or would it be everybody, almost everybody else?
Well,
So
history shows us, for instance, a lot of track stars are on performance enhancements. Almost all the big stars have historically been on them. And usually what you do is you're able to pay people off, the people who do the drug screens and stuff like that. You're able to slip out of it, or you do it, but they basically say you passed. So that's how it's been in track and field. And I've literally, I don't really hear much about drug testing in the NBA. So Ja, I do want to thank you for your call. I'm going to call someone back. I got 2 phone calls in, and I want to make sure that they're heard as well. Okay.
I was just doing the same. Hey, take care, Queen. Be well.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Hello?
Hi, this is Sports Tea.
Yes. I was calling to talk about LeBron and the steroid.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
What do you think about that?
LeBron has did so much to help the NBA. I think they asked him to go to Miami because they won so much money when Wade won the championship in Miami. For him to leave Cleveland, the city he grew up in, and get the chance to play for your own hometown, I think he in around the table with the bosses. Same thing with LA. The ticket sales in LA is higher probably than anybody in the NBA. After Kobe left, they needed somebody to sell them seats out. And who else can do it besides LeBron James? That's why they're keeping the steroids up under the table, because he have done so much to help them out selling the NBA. It's all a big conspiracy game. And we would never know all the ins and outs to what they're doing. I think he's in with them on every move he makes. And Kobe and Jordan would not bow down and lose an NBA championship for them, or let Dwight Howard beat them in the NBA Finals just so they can probably make more money. Or, because I think Kobe wanted to go to Chicago. I think he really wanted to go to Chicago, but I think they stopped that. But back on LeBron, I don't want to get off the path. Yeah, I think LeBron is in at the table with them. Every move he makes from Miami to LA, because all of them been power moves to help the NBA. So they know he on steroids. Allegedly, they know he's on it, but they'll keep it up under the table just because the moves he done made to help them out. Hello?
Okay. I think that that's an interesting observation. I would agree with that too, that LeBron is, whatever he's doing, I think that there's a team that surrounds it, and
Yeah,
there's going to
it
be
is.
people in the know, right? I think that that's just what's going to happen. So I agree with you. And what was your name again, sir?
Charles.
Charles. Well, it was so nice to hear from you tonight. Thank you so much. I did get some other calls, so I'm gonna start calling some people back and try to get some more calls in on this topic. I think that there's a lot of people that want to give their opinion about this. So
Thanks for answering my call.
thank you so much for calling in, Charles. Have a good night.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, this is Sean.
Hi, Sean. What's going
Hi,
on?
Dominique. First off, I just wanted to say I think your show is amazing. I think you're doing a great job on your show, and I think you should stay consistent with the work you're putting out. I think people enjoy your show a lot.
Thank
That
you
was
so
first.
much. That was so sweet. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Now, secondly, I just wanted to say, I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
hmm
Which version of LeBron, particularly aside from his resume, which stint was your favorite stint?
It's so hard for me to say because I think LeBron is just so explosive. The way that he drives to the basket, the way that he just runs the court full steam, I think that he's still able to do that today. So I really enjoyed him the most when he first came into the league. When he first got to the Cavs, I was so excited for him. Just like we're pretty much the same age, and just coming from high school and into college, and just seeing, how much pressure he had on him. the sneakers. Like I was wearing LeBron's like 1 through I want to say like 9 or something like that. Like I didn't have every pair, but I really liked some of his sneakers. I play basketball in them. So his first stint with the Cavs I think is really special just because we were introduced to him. We were seeing all of the great things that he could do. And I would say that what was most exciting for me though was his time with the Heat. Those 4 years
Okay.
were really, really fun. Just seeing him play, you know, alongside Dwayne Wade and have that mentorship with him and really seeing, you know, Dwayne Wade kind of just help him through that time. I think he was really suffering mentally and he needed like somebody to really be that anchor for him. Like he was the best talent on the team and he was going through a lot clearly. And,
Right.
you know, I think that time was sort of like a redemption arc. And I know that most people are going to say, oh, well, he teamed up and, you know, you can't redeem yourself when you do that. And he really redeemed himself in 2016. But I didn't think, I thought that Kyrie Irving was more of the star on the Cavs. I enjoyed watching him more when that second stint on the Cavs, and I enjoyed LeBron. But I really, really loved watching him play those first like 9, 10 years with the Cavs, and then the stint with the Heat.
Now, as far as resumes go, because if his stint with the Heat, you're saying that's his best stint, right? Which stint, like, would you say gets him in above other players in your top 5? Like, is there a way that he makes it in your top 5 through other people's resumes? Like, where do you rank that, like, compared to other players? Because, you know, you have so many different versions of Bron. We could take each version and say, you know, this player is better than such and such. So where would you rank that, like, higher than Kobe's 8th rank or like his number 24? Like, where do you rank that?
I'll be honest with you, Sean. I don't have LeBron. I don't think that there's anything that he could do to be in a top 5. There is no stint that would make him top 5 for me or top 10. So for me,
Okay.
top 5, top 10, there's specific criteria. And to me, that's a whole other show for you guys. But there's criteria that births you into the top 10. There's criteria that's going to birth
Okay.
you into the top 5. And, you know, for me, it consists of about 3 to 4 things. So yeah, I don't have LeBron top 5 or top 10. He would need to revise history. So he would have to go back to the Cavs and have never left that team. He would have had to win, you know, and maybe not necessarily a three-peat, but he would have had to stay with that team, win, and perhaps play completely different. I would need to see like true, like real playmaking from him. I would need to see all 5 positions on the floor being utilized before I could even consider LeBron to be a top 10 player.
Okay. Well, that was my last question for me. Once again, I think you're doing an amazing job. You put out great content and you keep the people engaged, especially with you going live now. People get to actually interact and share their thoughts with you in real time. So I think you're doing great, Dominique. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Of course. All love.
Have a good night.
All right.
Bye-bye. All righty. I'm going to call a couple other people called in, so I'm going to call them back.
Good evening.
Good evening. This is Dominique from Sports Tea. I just wanted to return your call.
Oh, thank you. I've been listening to the show. It's great. Great.
What's your name?
I go by Alexander, and you see I'm probably in the chat earlier. I go by Alexander X.
Alexander the Great. Me too. That's my last name.
Awesome. But getting back on topic, I found it very just odd myself that I didn't even know that testing was happening during the Olympics with the team. And to hear Anthony Edwards say it was very telling. And to hear that the most obvious guy that should be tested wasn't tested, 40 years old,
MVP and most minutes, it was just very like chin scratching. And like Steph put on a performance that was worthy of a test because that's what they do in the Olympics. And Kevin Durant, okay, he has some great performances as well. And Anthony Edwards, he physically looks like somebody that can be tested if necessary. But LeBron James, who's old and gray and doing the most, is just beyond worthy of testing at 40 years old. And they say that after every, stat he accumulates during the game. But he had some shots in the back of his head that somebody pointed out. I believe I was watching a video on Angry Old Hoops, and I never saw that on his chin that you showed earlier, the kind of cyst-looking thing, like the bump. And I was just like, I never seen that before. And what I found was very telling as well when you showed him in the skinny picture. I believe he was getting ready for train wreck. I saw him eating like snacks, doing interviews like trail mix and stuff like that. But then he mysteriously got hurt and went to Miami, which I was like, you're not going to work at home with the team? You're going to go all the way to Miami to get better? Whatever. Palms off, NBA. Palms off, team. Like, to me, that isn't teamwork. But whatever. It's him. They letting it ride. He fell. And he comes back as this machine and wins the championship down 3-1. Granted, they lose Bogut. They couldn't even beat the Clippers without Bogut, so I knew it was over. But he just comes back, and I believe the second stint, Cleveland LeBron was the best LeBron, in my opinion. Experience, champion, but physically just dominant. And I just found that very bizarre. He comes back from that injury like,
Yeah.
and to see the Olympics now, it's like,
Yeah.
He wasn't tested out of all the people. And the UFC guy, he outed some of the guys that do what he do. And he said, oh yeah, LeBron's on it.
Yeah.
And I heard Kwame Brown say, why wasn't he suing it for defamation of character? That's your integrity as a competitor being questioned by another professional who's credible that works at ESPN. Go after this guy. Squash this clown. He's questioning your integrity as a man, as a competitor. And no response is like, and like you said, he's on top of everything, And of course, he's not going to have a comment on Shannon Sharp, which is a whole other topic of discussion later. But LeBron, he didn't go after the guy, and I believe the guy's word because he's out of some of the guys and that does what he do, and just says LeBron's on it. And to hear Kevin Garnett say it, it's like these guys are professionals. How could you not take their word for it? And I'll give you the floor from there.
I hear you. I mean, this to me, there's too many coincidences here, right? It just like, to me, I don't believe in so many things happening at the same time, or there's just, like I said, too many coincidences where, to me, it's a very mysterious thing happening.
Yeah, absolutely. But I ain't going to hold you. I'm pretty sure you got some other people in line. But as it stands today, currently, him being 40, and it's very weird how there wasn't an Olympics MVP since Ginobili, and he just mysteriously has one waiting for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about the accolades. It's all about the recognition. That's why I'm worried. So, I don't think that LeBron is the GOAT. I've enjoyed watching him play in his career throughout, the 21 years, but I don't think that this would be good for basketball for him to be exposed. So I want him to have a very smooth retirement, to ride off into the sunset being celebrated, and not any kind of scandal like this. This is not what I envision for him or the league or for basketball fans. So basketball would lose if that should happen. And I just worry that somebody's going to want to knock him off the throne. Somebody's going to want to knock him, make him fall from grace, because they're just tired of seeing him win, orchestrate, manufacture, and just get away with certain things.
Right.
But
And I just believe in the realm of entertainment. And that's why I respect your channel as well, because you're one of the many channels that's growing that tells the truth, which is usually in the minority in the realm of what we're talking about. And I believe the truth is only going to grow with channels like yours, and I respect it. Keep doing what you're doing.
thank you so much. I just want to provide a space where we can all talk about sports, and it's a safe space to do that. And we can have fun,
Right on. Right on.
So thanks so much.
All right, for sure. Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye-bye.
You too. Later.
Okay, so I'll call someone else back. I have 2 Philadelphia callers. I'm going to give them a call back.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not.
Okay, let's see.
Hello.
Hi, this is Dominique from Sports Tea. I missed your phone call. I'm so sorry about that.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Dom? It's T Bert. I finally caught you,
T-Bert. Oh my gosh,
and
so
I
nice to hear from
finally
you.
get to talk to you.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. How are you?
I'm so good, so good. And that interaction that you and I had together on the when we was just messing back and forth, like I knew this was the place to call in, and this is where I'm gonna be. So I really appreciate you, and you're doing a great job. And let's keep it going. And I'm gonna be one of your biggest supporters.
Oh
I
my
got you.
gosh, thank you so much, T-Bert. Like, what do you think about this Balco gate? Like, what do you think about LeBalco?
All right, so let me start by saying, like,
And do you even care?
I,
Let me also, do you even care whether it's true or not? I don't know that I do.
I really don't think I care because in the minds of many, everyone has already made their decision on LeBron. So your LeBron fanboys, don't matter if it comes out it don't matter. It's not going to change. And your LeBron haters, it's not going to change. Everybody's mind is made up. You know what I mean? So do I really care about it? No. But now I would say, like, I know a lot about basketball. Like, I'm like really like, I've played it, watched it for over 30 plus years. Like I've seen LeBron's whole career, Kobe's, Jordan's. I've seen all their careers. And do I think he's on steroids where there's smoke, there's fire, But I don't know. And I don't think it's going to move the needle either way, right? So that's where I stand on LeBalco Gate. And I wouldn't be surprised because let's just be honest. LeBron, he's a great player, but he's a fraud. You know what I mean? Like, and I know one of your other callers, they said, could LeBron do anything for you, Dom, that will put him in your top 5? Oh my God, I agree with everything you said, right? No, like for me, Dom, it's like he's the hardest player to judge where does he fall, top 5, top 15, top 20, top 30, because, he is great, but his whole resume is fraudulent. Like, I don't know where you could, like, I don't have him top 5. I don't have him top 10. I don't know where to put him because of his resume. It's so fraudulent, but he is a great player. Your thoughts?
I mean, I don't want to call his resume fraudulent. So like, I hear you. I totally understand that. And I almost agree with you in spirit, but a lot of people, they don't give LeBron credit for his 4 rings. They say he's really just a 1 ringer. Some people will say that the bubble championship didn't count. He is an extraordinary talent. And I think that he for sure has been a generational talent. I think like we both can agree to that.
Absolutely.
And when you take a look at the resume, like I'm not going to take away his MVPs and what he has accomplished. I mean, his resume is still short of many things that in comparison to others. So, I'm not going to call his resume fraudulent, but I do not like the way that he won, but he did win. He did it in his own way. He won in a way in which that, he broke basically the fraternity. essentially. He broke the fraternity of the NBA by doing things different, by deciding, hey, I'm not going to focus on the competition that's in front of me. The incumbent in the league is Kobe Bryant. That's the person that I need to focus on surpassing and making sure that I win more titles then, making sure that I have, a better resume then, as well as can actually beat them. And so I think that they missed their chance to make it to the finals. And I don't think that that's LeBron's fault per se, but I think what I do think is his fault is coming straight into the NBA, comparing himself to somebody that no longer plays there. So,
Yeah,
and I
I
get it.
agree.
The media, helped with that, but I don't think that LeBron, I think that he's somewhat responsible for that. He's complicit, whether it's his marketing team, himself, putting on 23, you're going to be compared to Michael Jordan, period.
Right.
And I think he
Yep.
knew that. So there was jersey sales involved. There was, and he had 23 in high school, but I think 23 represents being the best. It represents being the best.
Right.
Of course, you want to wear that jersey, but I just think that it was smart for him to change his number. But again, he never made any number his own. So, there's
No.
things that I have a problem with about LeBron, but I'm not going to chip away at his accomplishments. Even when we take a look at the bubble ring, somebody had to win, and I get it. He kind of sold out a bit by even agreeing to play in the bubble because so many stars didn't want to do it. But when you take a look at that title, if anybody can exploit this current landscape of the NBA, it's going to be LeBron. He saw that everybody's head wasn't in it. He saw that people were trying to stay alive and make sure that their families were okay. He saw people struggling during COVID, and he's just like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to win. I'm going to keep my head in the game. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to get my teammates together so that we can all have that same focus, and we're going to win this title. Do I think that was the toughest championship to win, like the narrative that he was trying to put out there? Absolutely not. I think that he did a really fantastic job of exploiting the circumstances that year. Same thing in 2016. Draymond Green gets suspended in game 5, and I get it. He came back for game 6 and 7, and I blame the Warriors for that loss. I don't blame Draymond getting suspended. But LeBron,
Right.
he was able to exploit that. He was able to get in the head of Draymond Green, have him act out. That's why he stepped over him like that. He wanted
Right.
him to do
And
what he did,
I
and
agree.
it worked, right?
Absolutely.
And so I do give him credit for his accomplishments, what he's been able to do in his career. I just don't think he's the GOAT. And I get it. For all the LeBron fans in the room, I'm a big hater because I don't think that he's the best that I've ever seen. I've just seen too much basketball. I haven't seen all
Right.
75 years of it, but there's 75 years of basketball, and LeBron James is not the GOAT. He's not in my top 10. I don't have him there because of guys like Dr. J, because of guys like Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson. I think that comparisons are actually the thief of joy, and that we should not be
Right.
constantly comparing players today to players of the past. I think it's nice for
Agreed.
nostalgia. There's a huge market for nostalgia, but I think LeBron is LeBron. I don't think he's anything like Magic Johnson. And people are going to say, oh, he's, just as tall, flying down the court. I get that. But Magic Johnson knew that his job was to feed Kareem. That's what he knew. He knew that his job was to make sure that he fed the post and move the ball. So, yeah, I
agree.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you said. And no, I don't consider people like you and I LeBron haters because, you heard me say, I think he is great and he is a generational talent. It's just the way that he did it. And you and I aren't haters. I look at us as we're basketball purists and we just call it like we see it. And real quick, because I heard you talking about the Olympics, right? When he got this manipulative MVP somehow, whatever. I'm going to put a stat out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
How could you be the MVP and over 5 games you had 24 turnovers? So how can you get a MVP when MVPs are rare to get in the Olympics since Ginobili? He had in 5 games 24 turnovers. And they say, oh, he can play point guard. Apparently, I disagree. I've been a point guard my whole life. And if I have 5 turnovers, in one game in college, I'm getting yanked.
Your
But
ass would be on the
apparently,
bench, right? But apparently, the
absolutely,
narratives are that point
absolutely.
guards get a lot of turnovers. That's what I'm hearing people say repeatedly, that point guards get a lot of turnovers and it's totally okay. Which, when I was playing
No.
basketball, my ass would be on the bench. And that's where LeBron would
absolutely.
be playing like that. He would have been sitting right next to me on the bench if we came within a point of losing to a foreign team.
Right.
He had
And
6
Yep.
turnovers in back-to-back games. I mean,
Yep.
he's a turnover machine. He is the greatest of all time in turnovers. And again,
Yes, he is.
I'm not going to take away his accomplishments. He is a sports hero. He's one of our Black sports heroes that we need to,
Yes.
that we do need to celebrate, but we have celebrated him. And right now we're talking about his turnovers, and he's a turnover machine. So
Absolutely. I know you got other callers. I'm going to leave you with this, but I'm going to always continue to call and support you, okay?
thank
I'm
you so
going
much.
to leave you with this. So, for any LeBron fans, and I don't consider myself a LeBron fan, or I'm not a LeBron hater either. I just call it like I see it. How can you be in the GOAT conversation? You're the all-time leader in turnovers. You're the all-time leader in shots missed. You've been to 10 championships and you lost 60% of them. And on your way to the top, you managed to form super team that's equivalent to the Justice League. You're rolling with Justice League NBA type players, and somehow you happen to lose 60% of your NBA Finals appearance. So yeah, is he in a GOAT debate? For me, absolutely not. So I'll just leave it there. I just wanted to put some stats out there. So you got a lot of people watching and listening. So I just want to leave it with that. You got the final word, and then I'll hang up.
Thank you so much, T-Bird. I mean, if we look at this comment on the screen, LeBron James has failed to elevate the NBA in his era. Not many people are watching LeBron James NBA. Caitlin Clark is growing the WNBA. People are watching her. And it's so funny, right? Because Caitlin Clark didn't even come into the NBA being as good as LeBron was when he joined the NBA.
Mhm.
But people
Yep.
really are not consuming the NBA. It has the lowest, I think the ratings have decreased since 1998, the last NBA Finals. It's decreased
Mhm.
about 70% in ratings, in television
The
ratings.
NBA is not watchable, Dom. And if you look at the last All-Star game, it is absolutely pathetic. There is no defense. Those guys have no interest. They don't care about entertaining the spectators and the watchers and the audiences. They don't care about entertainment. They are getting that huge bag, and that's all that matters. They don't care about us because they did. We used to love the NBA All-Star games. Back in the day, the NBA All-Star games, the last 5 minutes, they would go hard as heck at each other and see who was the best, who was at the top of the mountain. They cared about East versus West, who was winning. These guys don't care. They don't care. A lot of them don't care about winning. They just care about the bag. And the NBA, as of right now, is not watchable to me, especially the All-Star game.
I couldn't agree with you more. Kobe Bryant said it best. I really want to get out there on the floor every night because some kid who's never seen me play could have spent their last, bit of money, and maybe this isn't the exact quote, but he said something to that effect. Look, a child might have spent their last bit of money to see him play. So he took pride in being on the floor and really entertaining his fans. And I think there is no pride in that anymore. So,
Nope, not at all.
I agree with you. And I mean, this was a really great call. So I want to thank you so much for calling in and supporting Sports Tea.
Thank you so much. You're going to be hearing from me a whole lot. Thanks for calling me back. I appreciate you, and I will continue to watch the show right now. Thank you, Dom.
Anytime. Thank you, T-Bert.
All right, bye.
Have a good night. Okay. So we will pull up a couple more comments here. If anybody else wants to call in, please feel free. I see Goatcast Hoops. Shout out to you guys. I'm assuming everyone in here has played basketball. I hope so. If you don't play basketball, hopefully you watch. You don't need to play basketball to have an opinion about it. Like I said, this is a space for everybody that loves the sport to, to chat, to give their opinion, to say what they think based on what they see or what they've heard. Oh, thank you, David. So sweet. Tony the Savant, shout out to you. Please guys, if you have not checked out Tony's content, please head over to his channel and subscribe. Great person, really great commentary. Check him out. Let's see. Have we ever in our lives seen such a display of disrespect to the game that we all do recognize what we are seeing? Because this right where we're seeing has never been done in the history of the sport. African goddess, I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Let's see. Like, we all know basketball, but what we are seeing is not that. I couldn't agree with you more. People just running down the court, setting up no plays, ISO ball, high screen and roll, and that's all you get. Drive to the basket, run over defenders, dribble, drive, kick. That's all that we get now. So I totally understand. There's no offenses being ran. There's no real defensive schemes being ran because nobody's even playing defense. You don't have to box out for rebounds. Point guards just hold the ball until they can get an assist. They don't move the ball anymore. The best basketball that I've seen in the past 10 years or so has been from the Warriors. And I also don't want to see a 3-point contest. So that says very little to me about, the state of the NBA. It goes to show where we're at currently, and it's not in a good place. Oof. Prodigal, each version of LeBron was a quitter. I mean, I guess if when we take a look at today's standards, is he really a quitter? I don't know. But in comparison to the 90s, for sure, every single version of LeBron was definitely a quitter. First stint in Cleveland, Bron was the best. Less shenanigans, flopping, and stat padding, and no clutch sports. Awesome. Goat Cass Hoops. Second stint, Cavs Lebron was a beast, and I'm no LeBron fan. He was. For me, I didn't really enjoy him going back to the Cavs. That's just where I felt like, not that he wasn't good, but I felt like that's when he stopped playing defense. He had defensive moments, but he picked and he chose when he was going to play defense. So that second stint, I have an issue with. Let's see. Players with losing final records can't be top 5. Maybe. I mean, imagine if he went to the finals every single year of his career and he won 10 times and he had a 50% loss record. Maybe he would be considered the GOAT. I don't know. Who else escaped? I don't know who else escaped or for sure was drug tested. All that I know is that Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Anthony Edwards were tested. So I don't know. Maybe there were more people tested, but Anthony Edwards said it like those were the only 3 people that were. And he brought this up in what seemed to be a sequence that was just for no reason. So I wonder if that was shade to Clutch Sports or trying to get people to talk about this. I don't know. It's not time for Leped to get exposed. Oh my gosh. Leped. He was in the biogenesis ledger. For sure. No, I mean, there's nothing but a ton of evidence. Apparently there were drugs that were going to his wife in his wife's name. Apparently, the guy, Richard Mims, was picking it up for him. There's loads of evidence here, but nothing has been substantiated. Nothing's been, I guess, proven. It's all circumstantial. It's all like very deep in the interwebs. Sports talk only. There are not 10 players better than LeBron. There are not 5 players better than LeBron. Okay. Well, if you say it, then it must be true. Exactly. They have to wait to expose him. Now is not the time. You enjoyed his career. Every time I see her talk about LeBron, it's negative comments. Maybe the topic is negative, depending on the question. As you guys can see, I've got LeBron on my wall. So, I think he is an incredible athlete. I think he's an amazing sports hero, one of the best. He is definitely, one of the people that athletes should be looking up to, the way he conditions his body, the hard work that he's put in for 21 years. You have to respect that. But again, just because I don't think that he's the GOAT doesn't mean that I don't think that he's had really great moments. Doesn't mean that I haven't enjoyed watching him play. When you love basketball, I don't think that anyone could hate everything that LeBron has done in his career. That doesn't really make much sense to me. How is a guy with 4 championships and 4 finals MVP not top 5? I would say it's likely because there are other people with those same accolades or more. Why is Tim Duncan not in top 5? I think that he's better than LeBron, but he's never talked about. Why? Because he was boring? Why? Because he wore the black dad sandals at the barbecue? Like, why? Let's see. So Prodigal, MJ 1, Kareem 2, Kobe 3, Duncan 4. See? Duncan's in somebody's top 5. So I'm happy to see it. Top 30. I don't even know where I would rank LeBron. I would rank him separately. So I would not do an all-time ranking that involved LeBron. I think that this is a new era, a new NBA that cannot possibly be compared to even the early 2000s. So I feel like, from 2010 on is when we can start like ranking, and I know people are going to say LeBron came in 2003. He should be compared to those guys. And I just don't think he faced a tough enough NBA with physicality, with, real defense, real offense. Like there's no real offense or defense in the NBA. That's a problem. So I can't put LeBron in a top 5 where teams have played that, where players have played that. So LeBron's not better than Bird. I wouldn't rank him above Bird. Again, I have a different ranking. So everybody that played from LeBron's time period and on, I have him, I would rank those players together. I also have a separate ranking for players that never won anything. So if you never won any titles, then I'm going to rank you differently. You're going to be on that list of players to be ranked and compared to. And then there's the other eras that I feel like are closer together and more similar and able to be compared to each other. But I can't compare LeBron to players of the past. That's a fair take, Goatcast. Smooth disagree, but it's fair. Okay. It's fair to have LeBron number 3. So sports talk only, you're fine as long as LeBron is in anybody's top 5. That's the bar for you, is top 5. Okay. That's fine. Jordan would have 10 plus rings if he joined up with competition. I don't know. I don't know that to be true. I think getting to the finals is hard, especially back then. I think winning 3 times in a row is really hard. It's hard on the body. It's just hard mentally. People will say, oh, Jordan would have won 6 rings or 8 rings straight. I just don't know. I don't know that. Maybe he would have lost to the Houston Rockets. I'm not going to speculate and put those what ifs on it. What I know is that he has 6 rings. He's 6-0 in the finals, and that's really amazing. But yeah, I try not to speculate that way. The what ifs, we can do the same what ifs with LeBron. If he stayed with Cleveland Cavaliers, would we consider him the GOAT today? if he won even just 3 titles with them. I don't know. How is LeBron ranked at all? He plays like a football player on the court and doesn't get called for fouls. I don't think of LeBron as a generational talent, just a product to push. I mean, I get it. I do think that bum rushing the lane, running over defenders, I think that that is a talent and a skill. You have to be skilled at doing that. Him and Giannis do the same exact thing, except LeBron is much more skilled than Giannis is. Putting your head down, bum rushing the lane, and running over defenders like this is rugby, I think is their specialty. And not many people can do that. But if Shaq was doing it, he would just be called the most dominant player, right? So I want to give LeBron credit for being the best bum rusher of the lane that I've ever seen. We've been watching him do the same thing for 21 years. High screen, drive, kick. That's how he gets going. So, I do think that he's more than just a product to push. I think that he dreamt of being in the NBA his whole life, and he worked really hard to get there. And I think that he has a lot to be proud of in his career, for sure. Jokic beat LeBron 12 times in a row. Has any great ever experienced that? Where is Jokic ranked if LeBron is a generational talent? I definitely wouldn't have Jokic ranked anywhere. He cannot jump, dunk, or run. So if you can't run the floor, if you can't dunk the ball, if you cannot jump, that's an issue to me. I definitely don't have him ranked over LeBron. I think that he has really great fundamentals, which make him a great player in this NBA, because the NBA, most players, especially the American players, they're not predicated on their fundamentals. In Europe, they're training from when they're a child on these kinds of skills and things. So they invest a lot of money in their athletes as well. So the training and, the attention to having high IQ and true skill is what we'll see in many foreign players, with the exception of Giannis. Let's see. The only thing he is great at is cheating. Well, I mean, stacking the deck, adding multiple players to your team, picking your teammates, your coaches, your just everything. It's been said that LeBron even picks the Lakers' schedule for games. So when you're able to do that, you're able to manufacture wins. You're able to orchestrate titles. So if he lost, y'all would be talking 3-7. To me, it's not about 3-7. It's not about 4-6. It's not about that. He doesn't, it's about what I see. So it's about what I see on the floor, and I don't see the best player that I've ever seen. To me, David Robinson has the ability to do what LeBron does, to run full speed, to run full court and bum rush the lane. That's so many players that could have done that back in the day, but they just played team basketball. They set up an offense. That's not LeBron's game. Okay. Sports Talk only has a lot of comments. So someone replied to you, of course he leads in stats. He's the only one with the ball, while everyone else he teams up with turns into a spot-up shooter. We've seen this with our own eyes. We've seen stars turn into a spot-up shooter for LeBron. Their game has completely gone to shit because they had to turn into a catch-and-shoot player. Dwayne Wade is not a catch-and-shoot player. Chris Bosh is not a catch-and-shoot player. Everybody just has to clear the lane so that LeBron can have an empty lane to bum rush, potentially run over a defender. He drops the shoulder. We know these moves. So, stats. When someone refers to stats when we talk about basketball, especially in this space, right? We're all here. There's 59 people here. Why are we talking about stats? And I'm not saying that they don't matter, because they do. I think stats are a part of the criteria that would get you into any top player ranking. It's definitely part of it. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but when we have these discussions and we talk about what we see or someone's game, why isn't it more based upon what we're seeing, what happens in game? That's just, I mean, I don't know. When people talked about me as a basketball player back when I was in high school, they didn't talk about how many blocks I had. They talked about how good I was. They talked about what I did. They didn't talk about points, rebounds, and assists. So I just wish that we can have more human conversations and nuanced conversations about basketball instead of just the numbers and the stats. And LeBron James is the only player that I've had to have analytical, statistical conversations about. And it's all to serve a debate that is ridiculous to have. First of all, I don't think that a GOAT in team sports even exists. And I'm sure that that's not something that anybody wants to hear, but this is a team sport. So I don't believe that there's a greatest of all time. Now, if you play tennis, if you play golf, I can see like Serena Williams for tennis, Tiger Woods, boxing. Boxing is where the GOAT started. Muhammad Ali started that entire thing, calling himself the greatest. And when you're playing an individual sport, I have no issue with that. But when there's so many different things that's predicated on winning a title or winning just one game, when you think about what goes into winning a single game, it requires a team. And of course, there's difference makers. You're going to have your superstars on that team, but I don't really believe in there being a GOAT. I think the conversation's ridiculous. Her feelings are getting the best of her takes. Okay. Let's see. What else? Anything else in the comments here? Lots of engagement. All these controversies isn't a big thing in LeBron's world, from Ed Wow. For sure. I agree. Okay. All right, guys. So we've spent quite a bit of time on Lebalco Gate. I appreciate you guys listening. What we're going to do is we're going to jump to the next topic. And as you can see, Dennis versus Kevin Durant. Now, I didn't think that this was something that I was initially going to like respond to, but you know, the beef between Dennis Schroeder and Kevin Durant, we all remember him from the Lakers when he famously, allegedly turned down an $80 million deal from them. Because he wanted a $100 million contract, supposedly. Now, this hasn't been confirmed. He says that that was not true. He never had an offer from them. And so when he apparently rejected this $80 million deal, he wound up with a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Celtics. And, you know, Stephen A. Smith, he reacts to basically what Dennis Schroeder is saying about Kevin Durant, pretty much direct. I don't know if it was during the Olympics or if it was directly after, but Dennis Schroeder had an interview and he was talking about FIBA being straight IQ and that the NBA is basically entertainment. And he backpedaled. He was like, I'm not trying to say that, you know, there's no IQ in the NBA, but it's more focused on this. It's pretty much the gist of that. And Kevin Durant didn't appreciate it. Or, you know what? I'm not going to say Kevin Durant didn't appreciate it because that's not even what I think. But he replied to that. When they won the gold medal, he took a picture of themselves and he said entertainment and IQ. Just saying like, hey, we have it both. And I didn't think anything of this at all. I really didn't. But Stephen A. Smith reacts because this becomes a beef, essentially. So when Kevin Durant tweeted that, Dennis Schroeder had like a whole, you know, soliloquy about how he's a weak person, that, you know, he didn't mean it that way. And he was just, sharing that from both sides. So I'm going to play for you what he said and Stephen A's reaction to it.
Kevin Durant posted this photo with the caption, "Entertainment and IQ," seemingly a direct reference to Schroeder's comments. This week, Schroeder responded back saying on his Twitch stream, "They won," and Kevin Durant tweets, "High IQ and entertainment. For me, that's just being weak. You're that type of star, and you have to say something to a person like me who didn't even mean it to be negative. It was just what I see from both sides. I didn't appreciate it. I don't care, but at the end of the day, that tweet or whatever he posted was because of me. For me, it was never no negative stuff. I respect all of those guys, all GOATs, but to say that tells me how weak he is as a person. It is what it is. Not everybody is strong. Not everybody is in a good place."
So that's what Dennis Schroeder said. Here's what Stephen A said.
Ah, damn, Kevin Durant, you're getting in an argument with somebody else now, et cetera, et cetera. And then I saw this and I said about Dennis Schroeder, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, first of all, you got no business calling Kevin Durant weak. Let's call Kevin Durant what he is. He's one of the greatest players in NBA history. Okay. Yeah, he can be a bit petulant at times, a bit moody at times, or whatever. He's also one of the great people you'll ever meet. He's a good dude, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He can be a little bit temperamental or whatever. So what? So what? He's a decent dude. Don't get no trouble. Don't bother anybody. Just goes out on the court and ball. He's a two-time league MVP. He's a one-time league MVP. He's a two-time champion, two-time NBA Finals MVP. He's a four-time gold medal winner for the United States Olympics, and he's the all-time leading scorer. I think a record 518 career points in Olympic competition. Oh, by the way, even though he had 15 points in this gold medal game, the 3 previous gold medal games where he won a gold medal, Shannon, he had 30, 30, and 29. This brother is something special. And Dennis Schroeder talking about him, you talking about him like he's just somebody. I know they're all GOATs. Well, you ain't talking about him like he's a GOAT. You attacked his manhood. You talking about he's weak. How dare you say something like that about Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant don't deserve that. The fact of the matter is, Schroeder said what he said, okay? He talked about, hey, what is it? Straight IQ basketball, while the latter emphasizes entertainment more.
Entertainment.
Yes, he did not say they were devoid of entertainment, but he said they focused more on entertainment as opposed to IQ. And Kevin Durant was simply making a point. We have both. And he's qualified to say that because he's the most celebrated Olympian in history in the sport of basketball, okay? More so than LeBron James, more so than Steph Curry, more so than even Carmelo Anthony, certainly more so than Dennis Schroeder. And so I'm looking at this and...
Okay. So to me, Dennis Schroeder's comments that FIBA is straight IQ, straight coaching, I had no problem with it when he said it because he wanted to be clear that it wasn't to insult the NBA. I mean, he's allowed to state that FIBA is, it's straight IQ. He's allowed to make these comments. He's a player. So I don't have any issue with what he said. And there should have been no bad feelings behind what he said. The NBA is entertainment. It is drama. It is storylines. It is politics and a variety of other things, right? And it's about a lot of things that have zero to do with playing basketball. Zero to do with winning and creating competition surrounding basketball. It's not just about hoops. And that's the truth. Schroeder didn't even dig deep into the politics or the way the NBA has been charged with being a league that entertains its fans, whether it's at the cost of abandoning the fundamental rules like traveling, carrying the ball, or lack of defense, which has led to a 3-point contest and layup lines in the game. Stephen A listed Kevin Durant's accolades of being an Olympian, an MVP, an NBA champion. And at first I thought it doesn't matter. But then again, I think it does, because when you are critiquing today's game and how it's played or making certain statements that are an indictment on the game that he plays in, I think that it does matter. So I think Kevin Durant's accomplishments in the sport give his comments more credibility, but I don't think it gives anyone more rights to give their opinion per se. So Gil's Arena also discusses this beef. Let's hear his reply.
I mean, he started off wrong. Then KD wrote entertainment, then IQ. Not IQ, then entertainment. We're just gonna correct that. It was entertainment. Get the quote first. Entertainment, IQ.
Entertainment and IQ. He said high IQ and entertainment. Now what KD said? He just said entertainment and IQ.
I mean, it's not. You put the statement out there for him to post. Like Dennis. If you watch what he said, he did slow it. Like, hold on, before this is taken out of control.
Exactly, he tried.
He tried to, right? He didn't. There was no malicious behind it, right? You know, and there was no malicious behind KD. KD was just basically saying, we got entertainment and we got IQ on how we won the game. So I don't see.
I think Gilbert Arenas sees it similarly to the way that I do, but Rashad McCants, and I know I didn't play this part because it's a little long, but he expanded on Dennis Schroeder's side of it. He mentioned KD's burner account, which I think is hilarious because it reminds people that KD is going to reply, whether it's a clap back or just a reply, period. Kmart, to me, Kenyon Martin, he actually nailed it in my opinion because it's about absolutes. So he went on to share that, like, you know, when you say something, you've got to kind of like be ready. So when you say FIBA has, you know, guys that have really great IQ who know how to play the game, I don't think he was trying to insult the NBA, but he should have expected someone to respond. It came off as Americans don't have the IQ. And that's not absolute. That doesn't apply to everyone. Kevin Durant is the kind of guy that will reply. IQ refers to intelligence. So to imply that Europeans are smarter, you know, I guess to Americans, they're going to feel like you're taking a shot. And I don't even think that Kevin Durant took a shot at Schroeder when he said what he said back. That's what's disappointing about this beef, because I think that Schroeder could have let this go. It wasn't personal. When you say things publicly, you should be ready for a reply. KD gets low on people. Do we remember how he addressed Keyshawn Johnson? He torched him for damn near no reason. Keyshawn gave a take on Undisputed about how any decent player could have gone to the Warriors in 2017 and won. KD didn't like that. And he basically clapped back and said that anybody could have gone to the Jets and won instead of Keyshawn. Remember how he addressed Scottie Pippen, a legend in the NBA? He completely ethered Pippen. I want to take you guys back to 2021. This is a real throwback, but it's just to give a more clear picture of why people might be ready to jump on Durant or why they feel attacked if he references them in any way. So I don't know if you guys remember the Scottie Pippen statement. KD, as great as his offense was, it turned out to be his worst enemy because he didn't know how to play team basketball. He kept trying to go punch for punch. The Chicago Bulls legend went on to assert that James wouldn't have been in that position and would have found a way to win. Have you ever seen LeBron take a shot like that? He ain't going to take that shot. He's going to be smarter. LeBron would have figured out how to beat them, and it wouldn't have been he wouldn't have been exhausted, and he may not have taken the last shot. LeBron ain't KD. KD ain't LeBron. That was definitely, that was something. And I think that was totally unnecessary. And so did Kevin Durant. And he wound up saying, didn't the great Scottie Pippen refuse to go in the game for the last second shot because he was in his feelings? His coach drew up a play for a better shooter. Then he said, he sent out another tweet. This guy, Scott, also wanted to enjoy his summer, so he chose to rehab during the season. LOL. Yo, at Scottie Pippen, they followed Phil, not you. 3 exclamations. Oof. That was definitely rough. I don't think that Scottie Pippen was expecting that kind of clapback. Not at all. So, sheesh. Watching Kevin Durant do things like that, you know that you could be next at any time for saying anything. Pippen completely disrespected KD for no reason. I understand giving your opinion, but saying anything, about LeBron in this moment when he won a title the year before and was a first round knockout this same season that you're mentioning him was inappropriate and irrelevant to the playoff run that Kevin Durant was having. Yes, he was on the Nets team that was eliminated. It was very unfortunate how Giannis was able to undercut Kyrie in that series, which led to a major injury and setback for the Nets. Nonetheless, Scottie Pippen was chatting and gave his opinion. It was definitely a hot take. What bothered me the most about it, I would say, is that he said KD is no LeBron James. He's not LeBron James. He's just a better player. In fact, if LeBron took that shot, he would have LeBricked it. Let's be for real. We've seen that time and time again. KD responded with a nail in Scottie's coffin. So, to me, his point in that was, why are you even talking when you were never the guy? He's basically saying that Scottie Pippen wasn't even the number one option while MJ was temporarily retired. Kukoc was given that last shot. Pippen refused to even go back in the game. I remember that. The team never followed Scottie, as great as he was of a teammate. He supposedly was. They followed Phil. They followed Mike. Kevin Durant completely annihilated Scottie Pippen with the "remember when" tweet. Cut deep, for sure. I wouldn't have responded if I was KD personally, but this is the kind of person that we're dealing with. He's going to reply. He's not going to take the quote unquote classy professional way out. He doesn't have to. So, overall, I think that Dennis Schroeder is not a superstar, a star, or an all-star in the league. His comments went viral because he defined what it is to play internationally, as well as what it is to be a player on American soil. So again, I didn't have a problem with his comments, and I don't think overall KD did either. If he saw Schroeder's comments as a shot or a personal attack, then we know how he would have responded. He would have torched him for being a journeyman in the NBA and not being able to entertain or win titles with all the IQ he supposedly has. To me, this is no big deal. Schroeder made it a big deal, I think, when he called KD weak as a person. The response was definitely out of turn and unnecessary. He randomly makes himself look bad in order to stay relevant in the sports world. And it makes me think that if foreign players are all about IQ, coaching, playing the game the right way, then why engage in drama? Why clap back at all? Seems like Schroeder wants to be down with the gang, but he wants to entertain stories and storylines and drama too, instead of letting his game do the talking and keeping it about hooping, right? FIBA is about straight hoops and IQ, then keep it that way. But what do you guys think about Dennis Schroeder's beef? I'm going to open up the phone lines. If anybody's even still awake. Feel free to call in and tell me what you think about Schroeder. My bad. But yeah, so these dudes always want someone to turn the other cheek when you come out of your face. Schroeder is a clown and couldn't keep it basketball. I agree. Like if FIBA is supposed to be all about, straight IQ and basketball, then why get into why not expect NBA players who are great NBA players to defend the game that they're playing in? It's basically an indictment that, they're not smart, they're not playing a good brand of basketball, which, I agree with. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you need to be able to expect a reply. expect that somebody is going to say something about you. What else do we have? I'll put the phone number back up if you guys want to call in. Keyshawn Johnson was right. Any All-Star could have won with Golden State Warriors with Steph. It's probably true. I mean, they were already a great team. They had already been to the finals. We knew that they were going to go back to the finals. So if they got another piece that could get them, over the LeBron hump, because they were about to lose 3 straight. LeBron was going to beat them 3 times in a row if Kevin Durant didn't get there. So I don't know that anybody could have gone, but Kevin Durant definitely fit into the system of moving the ball. So I don't think James Harden goes to the Warriors and helps them win a title. I don't think Russell Westbrook would have accomplished that either. So when we really think about, like, could any superstar have won? If we take all the guys that had no ring and drop them into that team, would they have still won? I don't know. If you put Chris Paul there instead of sending him to OKC or to the Rockets, does he win? He's ball dominant. He's a real floor general. I don't know that I think he plays a really great brand of basketball, but I don't know that he would have been the piece that they needed to get over the LeBron hump. And I get it. They beat him already in 2015, but LeBron beat them in 2016 and he knew how to beat them. And if you notice, even now that he's on the Lakers, he almost never loses a game to the Warriors. They're just too small for him. He's like, F this, I'm bum rushing the lane every time. And he does. And I think the last time that I can remember LeBron playing against the Warriors, he dropped 50 on them. And I think Anthony Davis wasn't even in the game. So I don't know that any star could have gone to the Warriors and won, but Kevin Durant definitely, he helped them win those 2 titles. And I think that trade is what helped create the dynasty that they are. Let's see. Ma'am. What? Because I had some user errors, okay? Schroeder's irrelevant, for sure. 1,000,000%. Definitely irrelevant. Kyrie and Ray Allen took the clutch shots for LeBron. Probably true. Probably true. Keyshawn was wrong. KD fits seamlessly. His shot making and underrated help defense was greatly needed. I agree. Kevin Durant is actually an extremely underrated defender, and he doesn't get that much credit for his defense. And what I saw is he was an excellent defender in the Olympics. He did everything on both sides, and it was really great to see. He looked so long out there on the floor. Like every time he just moved his arms out like this and, to play defense, he looked like he was just covering the entire half court. But yes, agreed. Definitely underrated as a help defender. KD has not won anything since he left Golden State Warriors. You're right. He hasn't. And that has begged the question, is it Steph that needed him or is it him that needed Steph? And I think that it was both. I think they needed each other. I think Kevin Durant needed to go to a team where they ran a real offense. I think he needed to play, in a system. I think that he needed to be on a team that moves the ball. So he definitely needed Golden State Warriors. And I think that Steph needed him because I don't know that they were ever going to win again. So, okay. Well, since no one's calling in, which I get it, it's totally late. We're going to go through these topics a little faster because we still have 2 left. So Noah Lyles, he's up next. We're going to talk about that. And these topics kind of all go together for me in a way, because basically these are just the last finishing sort of trending things about the Olympics that I really wanted to share. And I didn't have time to cover it. So, Noah Lyles, he went viral last year for saying that NBA champions are national champs, not world champs, right? We all remember that. I personally didn't care about this at all because the statement is true. First of all, the NBA players are not facing the world, although the NBA is the best talent in the world. I didn't see anything wrong with that. because track and field stars are not celebrated enough for competing against the world and being world champs. He faced a ton of backlash from this, from current NBA players such as Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and others. You know, it was not good. It was definitely, you know, considered just pretty disrespectful. And I think for me, when I read the statement, I thought nothing of it. But when I heard the statement, it was the tone, and the tone was just really rude. It sounded like he had no respect for basketball and NBA players. So I'm going to play that for you guys.
I mean, he started off wrong. Then
Oops.
You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the US at times, but that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
Well, fast forward 1 year later, okay, to the Paris Olympics. And of course, there's shade being thrown about his comments. And supposedly the NBA players were rooting for him to lose, and they were happy when he won a bronze and upon being sick with COVID. So I think it was maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month ago, Shannon Sharpe interviews Noah Lyles on Nightcap. And I'm going to play some of it for you, and we'll discuss it after.
Making that comment, I think the last question that you asked, what was I trying to accomplish by making the comment, is the most important one.
Yes.
Everybody sees the clip. Everybody sees the thumbnail. Everybody sees the 16 seconds. But did anybody decide to ask, what was the question that was asked to me? The question that was asked to me is, how do you feel knowing that when you go back to your own country, unlike these other countries that celebrate their athletes on such a humongous stage, when Taboho won his gold medal, he went back to a stadium filled with 30,000 people celebrating.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
When I showed up back home on my flight, of course, some people recognized me, and I'm very thankful for that. But there was no 30,000 people. There was no limo driver ready to take me home. There was no bus waiting. If I had my mom, I had my pops, and they were ready to take me home, and I was ready to go to bed. But there was none of that. There was none of that.
So, okay, the first thing I noticed was how defensive both Noah and Shannon were. I know I didn't play the whole interview for you, but Shannon was just like ready to jump. You felt it. Like he invited this person on his show and he was just ready to like make a fool of him. And it almost felt like very passive aggressive. Shannon is immediately picking a side very clearly, asking Lyles very leading questions instead of having the friendly conversation he typically has. I want to say that Shannon, to me, he's going too hard for the NBA being world champs because of Giannis and a few other foreign stars in the league. There's barely 5 international superstars in the league currently. NBA players are hardly competing against the world. Let's be serious. But it doesn't really matter because the best talent is in the NBA. That's the facts. So, you know, I don't and it's evidenced to me, the talent in the NBA and it being the best is there's evidence in that based on our gold medal wins. We're not losing, you know, gold medals. And I get it. LeBron's and he got 2 bronze. Okay, that future state, we just won a gold. I don't think we were really in danger of losing that gold medal. LeBron's style of play put us in danger for a couple of games, but I never thought that we were not going to win a gold medal. So, like I said, America has the best talent in the NBA. And I guess I don't understand why everyone's panties are in such a bunch for this topic. It's semantics to me. The biggest takeaway for me is that Noah Lyles wants to be recognized as a world champ and wants to be celebrated, not just in the sport, but as a household name. I think it's a natural feeling to want recognition for your work. I get it. I remember being the best, like the best in what I did year over year in a company that I previously worked for, and I still wasn't valued. A lot of sports are consumed differently, and track and field is one of the most mentally and physically challenging sports there is. Be that as it may, it's still not bringing in the ratings that basketball does. I'm disappointed that Noah Lyles started this conversation because he wasn't a household name. And well, like you heard him, it was because thousands of people were not waiting for him when he touched down. Like in other countries, how their track and field stars are celebrated. Nobody was waiting for him with signs and flowers and, oh, by the way, there's no limo to take you home. The need for recognition in today's generation is exhausting for me personally. Did Noah Lyles break Usain Bolt's record and I don't know about it? You're winning and you get to do what you love as a professional. That's your job, is playing a sport. And that's an amazing thing to be able to do. It's a blessing. And he's worth about $5 million or so. He's making more than track and field stars have made in the past. So he's living comfortably. And he's one of the best sports heroes today. So at the end of the day, I think Noah Lyles, he grew the sport from his comments because ratings are up since 2012 for track. But I think it's true that pretty much only Americans have a problem with the facts that he stated. My only issue with it is the motivation for why he stated those facts. That's my issue with it. So I'll open the phone lines again. If anybody wants to call in, feel free to do so. Let's take a look at the comments. We already know. We already know Shay Shay will crash out for LeBron anytime. Hey, Lamar. Shout out to Wildcard Mark, guys. If you haven't checked him out already, IOW Sports, go subscribe. Great channel, great content. Lamar is fantastic. And his recent video that he did on Tyreek Booker was really excellent. So go check it out. Noah Lyles just sounds like a hater. He's a clown. He wants the fame. Basketball and track are valued differently in every country. Yeah, I mean, it's true. And, you know, I don't think that he's a hater. I just think he feels unappreciated. He wants the glory that comes with being an athlete, but track and field athletes' glory is different. And it's different here in America. So, you know, there were guys faster than him that were recognized less. So, you know, I have an issue with people needing to be recognized for something. Why isn't it good enough that you are recognized through your paycheck? Why isn't it good enough that you get to run track? I would just be grateful for the opportunity to be able to be, you know, a part of such a prestigious sport. But that's just me. I'm not saying that he's completely wrong for having a feeling. I just thought that the way that he presented that was really rude and disrespectful to NBA players. NBA players that are playing today, they cannot control how the NBA markets the NBA finals as them being world champions. It's the same thing in baseball. They call it the World Series. They believe that the best, you know, of the world is right here. They believe their league is the best in the world. So I have no issue with either. I think it's really silly. And I think that Noah Lyles really wanted to bring more attention to the sport. And he was successful in doing that. So good job, Noah Lyles. Okay. We'll go to the next topic. I feel like everybody's a little sleepy and I totally get that. And I want to get you guys out of here. So, oh wait, we'll take a look at some comments. If Noah would stop saying wild out of pocket stuff, people would probably care more. Just win. Yeah, For me, he's a little bit off-putting. I don't really care for his personality. He's annoying to me. And I'm sure that's also why people were so turned off from his comments. Jamaica got me paying attention to track, not gonna lie. For me, I think that they're probably the fastest in the world and have been for a very, very long time. So we're gonna move on to the last topic here. Carmelo Anthony. Okay. Last topic in the lineup, Carmelo. As you know, Melo will go down as one of the best players to never win an NBA title. I mean, that's my opinion on him. He's on the list with Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, and others. Post-retirement, I'm just truly enjoying his vibe, like with his podcast and the way he's developing his son as a ball player. A couple weeks ago, he was trending for saying that Olympic medals are greater than winning NBA titles. I want you all to hear the clip of what he said.
You in Paris, right? Oui. And they asked you about trading your gold medals for an NBA championship ring. You said that that was the first time you have ever asked that question, which is crazy. And you said no. Would that have been a different answer for you a couple years ago, in the future? Maybe you change your mind, whatever, but
you'd have asked me this years ago, I would have said NBA championship. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
What switched it? Was it seeing the growth of the game? Like your involvement in FIBA?
Education, understanding, like really understanding like where it's going and where it was at and business of basketball. I'm just like really getting a chance, when I say a student of the game, not just X's and O's, but like really learning the layers of this business and the layers of this game. So this was information and insight that I didn't have, you know, coming into the NBA. And early on when I was playing in 04 and in 06, you know what I mean? Like with Team USA, before the Redeem team, right? I didn't know none of this. You know, in 08, I was just mad that we was losing. I'm happy that we formulated this team to go out there and win a gold medal to get everybody off our back here in the US.
Right.
It wasn't business for me back then. It was still like I'm in kill mode from a competitive standpoint. The business I didn't understand, still didn't understand the business. So I had to really like learn the game all the way around in totality to understand now 3 gold medals, 4 medals for me is bigger than the NBA championship because I understand the impact of it. Not everybody wins a gold medal. Not everybody wins a silver or a bronze, right? It's a handful of athletes from our country that we can say has won medals, let alone gold medals.
Right.
So when you have that perspective, that's a whole nother perspective. Yeah, of course, I won an NBA championship, and we all do.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of shit that have to go down accordingly in order for you to win an NBA championship, let alone multiple championships.
It felt like.
Okay. So for me, it just sounded like Carmelo is asking us to sort of read like in between the lines, right? He says, of course, everyone wants a title in the NBA, but after knowing what he knows now and what goes into winning a title, he wouldn't trade the gold medals. And when I first heard about his comments, I thought to myself, wow, he doesn't believe himself and God doesn't believe him. So I thought it was just straight cap. Shout out to Christian Butler. Love that comment there about Noah Lyles, but someone else in the comments said that they mentioned that it was just cap what Carmelo was saying. Yeah, here we go. Prodigal. Carmelo was capping. You know, I thought so too. Stephen A, he also had some thoughts on this, and he pretty much shut down the idea that Carmelo even understands what it means to be there. or to even get to the finals. So let's hear his commentary.
Oh, he does not. He does not. Look, Shay, this is one of the hardest conversations that I have to have because, you know, I got so much love for this brother. I've known him for decades, and I got so much respect. I don't think there's anybody I rooted for more to ultimately have a championship attached to their resume than Carmelo Anthony. I really mean that because I love him as a brother, as a person. But this is utterly ridiculous. No way in hell. First of all, let's shove aside the fact that Team USA is usually the favorites in basketball. So, you know what? You surviving and ultimately winning gold medals. It's not that you need to be discredited for that. That is an accomplishment. I'm not taking anything away from the fact that he and LeBron James have 3 gold medals. But to sit up there and to say that it's more valuable than an NBA championship, respectfully, oh my God, respectfully, how would you know? Because you never had an NBA champion. You never even played in an NBA finals. And that so you don't have that perspective. But here's where it gets a little bit deeper. He should have. It's not just because he was the number 3 overall pick in 2003.
Okay. So Stephen A., he grinds my gears a lot of times. And, you know, it's crazy because I think it's actually harder to play on a team where everybody is really great in today's NBA, especially because they don't play 5-man basketball. So it's really difficult to find your place on a team when everybody's used to playing star ball. So, you know, now like I said, if I never heard Carmelo explain himself, then I would have just said the same thing that Stephen A. said and closed the chapter on this. But after hearing his comments, explaining, you know, himself about why he said that, it sounds like when he says like what it goes into winning a title, it sounds like he's saying that what goes into it is orchestrating the run. What goes into it is manufacturing it. So whether it's literally players picking teammates, coaches, the schedule of games, load managing, getting Vegas and the refs on your side, point shaving or throwing games just to get a favorable matchup in the playoffs. I mean, it just seems like this is what players have to do to win. So like, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe he did not mean to say that. Maybe he meant that, you know, it takes just a lot of discipline, a lot of getting everybody on the same page, a lot of gelling and clicking as a team. Maybe that's what he meant. Or maybe he meant that, you know, it's really on the organizations, the onus is on the organizations to figure out how to help the team get to that title. So the right pieces have to be there and they have to do it. Who knows? Maybe that's what he meant by the business of it. But I think that what he meant by the game being played a certain way is being able to move chips around in the quote unquote player empowerment that is really just title manufacturing and orchestration. So what do you guys think about this? I'm going to put the phone number up. So feel free to call in. This is a really just interesting topic to me. He's never won a title. He's a guy with no ring who, you know, I'm from New York. I loved watching Carmelo play. He was great. I think that he's got a great personality. Like I said, I love what he's doing with his son. Shout out to Cyan Anthony. He is the #1 recruit out of New York. And I think, yeah, I just think that, you know, he's doing a lot of really great things post-career, but these comments, they definitely seem like there's some slightly veiled message underneath that like, hey, you know, this NBA really wasn't for me. I didn't play the game right because I was worried about competing. He mentioned that too. You know, he was focused on being a competitor, being the guy. So I'm wondering, like, do we believe what he's saying? Do we think that there's a message under the message? What do we think? Caller from Miami. Hi, this is Sports T. Caller from Miami. What's your name? Oh, one moment. I'm so sorry. I didn't have you connected. What was your name again?
Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Jay. How's it going?
Good. How's your night going?
Pretty good. I can't complain. Honestly, being with you guys and chatting with sports, I really enjoy it. So thanks for joining. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Appreciate you having me. I really believe. I believe what Melo, like what he's saying, how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a lot of subliminal, like shots or messages or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, he probably, if he won a championship, I don't think he would have said that. I don't think he would have said that. But him saying that, finding out information and how, how pretty much how the NBA works. Maybe it was something back in the day when he should have won Rookie of the Year. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure he has a lot of feelings, but isn't going to say it because of his, supposed friendship with LeBron.
right. And also too, I mean, if you really think about it, if you, let's say, an all-star type of player, all-star or superstar,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's like it's harder to get a championship than a gold medal. I mean, we seen you don't even have to play in the Olympics. You can. We saw Jason Tatum this Olympics. He barely even played. He still got a gold medal. Yeah, obviously he has a championship as well. But what I'm saying is, in the NBA, it's harder to get a championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally get it. And Prodigal mentions Carmelo was supposed to get a ring. He had a plan with Wade and LeBron to team up in 2011, but he signed a big contract extension and got the bag. So they went with Chris Bosh. What do you think about that?
See, if back then, if to me, I think Carmelo, what was that? Summer 2010 when they teamed up, right? The big three.
Mm-hmm.
I think Carmelo had to been like top 5 player in the game at that time. But it was Kobe, LeBron, D Wade, and then Melo's probably top 5. So if the Heat were to get Melo instead of Chris Bosh, maybe chemistry wise they would have been better off with Chris Bosh, but that would have been crazy if they had 3 of the top 5 players on one team. I couldn't even think about that.
How crazy would that have been if he went to the Miami Heat? Oh,
Yeah,
I just wonder. I wonder what kind of player he would have turned into. Would he still have been the great scorer?
He probably would have had to adjust to being a spot-up shooter earlier than he wanted to be.
For real. And I don't know how that would have gone.
Well, for him individually in his career, he probably would have been more of looked at as a glorified role player, to be honest with you.
Right? To be the 4th option on a team. He talked about that. I watched him talk about being a potential 4th option on the team and what did he look like even thinking about that. So, yeah, I mean, you made a lot of great points and observations, so thank you.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Yeah, just keep up the good work. I see. I see you guys. What's the other show? Man Down Sports. I see you on there too. So
Thank
I
you so
like your guys' contact. I like what you guys are doing. I don't really watch Fox Sports, ESPN anymore, but who does? It's more about like people like y'all putting out content.
Yeah,
I'd rather watch
we're
y'all.
really trying to bring some balance to the media. I think that there's just so many narratives that are paid for. I'm not a hired gun. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm just like I said before, I really just want to have a space where we can all talk about sports and have a good time. That's all.
Well, I mean, it's more genuine this way. I mean, when you go mainstream, to me, I feel like it's more politics. Whenever you involve any type of politics, anything, that's never good.
Yeah, no, I
more
totally
genuine,
agree. Genuine,
Right.
authentic interactions, the way to go. I'm here for it.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna hold you. So I appreciate you your time and having me on. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for calling in, Jay.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Shout out to more beats. You can always go off the script though and transcend the script. Kawhi broke the script with Toronto. I love that comment. That was one of the most underrated finals runs in NBA history. What else do we have here? Carmelo was supposed to get a ring. He had a plan. Oh yeah, we did that comment. Yeah. I think even if he had won an NBA championship, he would have said that. Quite frankly, I think that I don't know that he would have said that if he had an NBA championship, but it would have given the comments more credibility. I don't think that Stephen A would have been able to say what he said if he did win a ring. Then he would have been able to really choose which, would he in fact trade for either? Because you've been through that experience. You know what it takes to actually go through all of those playoff series to make it to the finals and to actually win a title. He's just never been there. He's never been to the finals. He's never made it out of he's been to the Western Conference Finals, but he has not made it to the finals. And people were looking for that. We were hoping for that. He should have won a ring. Would have been great. Durant is the number 2 small forward behind Bird. I'm here for that. He plays beautiful basketball. Yeah, I mean, he's just an incredible player. We saw what he did in the Olympics, and it's just a shame that he was not able to continue to win with the Warriors. I think that he should have stayed there and never left. Just really great basketball that was put on display with that team. Top 5 in one team is too broken. Try to recreate the 80s Boston. Here for that. If you combine the last 2 topics and look outside the US, it's not even a question. Gold medals are as rare as hen's teeth and revered as the ultimate achievement. Seriously, when you think about, world competition, a gold medal is the upper echelon, and I agree with you. And I think that other sports, and parts of the world, like when you talk about soccer, when you talk about track, when you talk about global sports, the NBA is just not that much of a global sport. There might be global names. Everybody knows Michael Jordan overseas, right? Everybody knows a lot of these players, but the sport is just, it hasn't taken over in other countries the way that it has in America. And I would even argue that it hasn't really truly taken over America. I think football is America's sport. But yeah, I agree with you. A gold medal is a top achievement. It's just, I think it's looked at differently in the NBA because we know that we're going to get that gold medal. It's not really in question. So, is it the most coveted award for NBA players to have when all of the best, the entire NBA, all the number 1 options pretty much on every great team is on that team? So is that true competition for them, what they're facing in the Olympics? I just don't think so. But I totally get that. And that's why I kind of group these topics together, because it's all, stemming from the Olympics and what we saw a couple weeks ago. Healthy Jimmy Butler wins with the Warriors team. I can see that. He's the kind of player that can go into a system and play really well and win titles. That's what he needs. He needs to play structured basketball where there's, a specific offense, moving the ball, getting to a spot, not taking too many dribbles to shoot. That's definitely his game. Playing defense. He's a great defender. I think it was Pat Riley who said that Jimmy Butler is a better defender than LeBron. It's a fact. So yeah, you throw Jimmy Butler on that team, they're definitely going to win. I can see that for sure. But I can't plug everybody or anybody into that Warriors team and say they're going to win a title. Interesting. Thank you for that, for sharing that, Star Traffic. The NBA has regressed in the LeBron, Ped, James era. My gosh. Replace Derek White, Halliburton, and LeBron with Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, Paolo Banchero. Turn that team loose from LeBron Ball, and none of them games are close. I agree. 40-point blowouts for sure. I think that this team was a little too old and too much LeBron ball for sure. Love that comment, Jeffrey. Shout out to Jeffrey. CP, LeBron James doesn't know how to play defense at all, in my opinion. I think that and so part of why I say that his first stint in the Cavs and with Miami was because he played more defense back then. And I think that he put effort into it. You know, now we see him completely standing around watching on defense, which is an issue. I literally, if I was the coach, he would be right on the bench next to me. Let's see. I'm saying that's why Melo's statements come off as authentic, because they see the reactions outside of the US. Got it. So he's thinking on a global perspective, like, hey, this is just so much more important because when I go to Europe, I'm revered here. Okay. I can understand that. Honestly, like, you know, I'm really curious as to what you guys think, how you guys saw this, because I was torn. At moments, Carmelo Anthony doesn't sound like the sharpest tool in the shed. And I wasn't sure if he was kind of steering these comments to bring up other issues potentially, or if he was coming from a genuine place. So Jaws, you think that they were genuine and authentic comments, and they very well could have been. I don't think that he believes that he's lying. I'm just curious as to, like, what's the psychology behind that? Okay. I mean, I really love just the vibe in the comments. Labubu James wasn't a bad defender, but he was never even good, just okay. Do we have any other callers? I think I can go for one more call. How are you guys feeling? Feeling tired? Send me a smoke screen so I know. I wonder why no ref catches traveling in the Olympics. What I enjoyed about the Olympics was I loved the defense. I felt like we saw a better brand of basketball. The foreign teams are so skilled in fundamentals that it was just amazing to watch. So, you know, I gave up on traveling and carrying the ball and taking 10 steps into the paint like Giannis. I gave up on that a couple of years ago. But you know, if we can just get defense back into the NBA, I'll be super grateful for that. Jamal, Carmelo was speaking in metaphors. That's why I believe him. Okay. I hear you. John, the psychology is travel outside the US, expand the worldview. I love traveling. My last vacation was Costa Rica. Actually, I'm lying. My last vacation was Guatemala, excuse me. Yeah. Don't drink the water in Guatemala, guys. It's 2 p.m. Are you in France? 9 hours away. Wait. Yeah, that's about that might be 14 hours away. What? What country are you in, MHF? Singapore. Yes, I thought so. Yep. So that is amazing. I hope you're enjoying it over there. When I worked at a different company, I really enjoyed the work that we did to help to get like electric vehicles kind of like up and running in that area. But anyway, shout out to you, MHF in Singapore. I hope you're having a really fantastic day. Star Traffic. I love that name, by the way. So cool. LeBron travels every time he dribbles. He always moves before he puts the ball on the floor. He does, honestly, LeBron does a lot of things, and I think he does these things because he's able to get away with it. It's not going to be called, this is just, it's it's the LeBron era. We're going to travel the ball, take 9-10 steps into the paint, carry the ball over our head into the paint, run over defenders, bum rush the lane. That's the game. That's his game. To detect LeBron constant traveling, you have to slow down tape. Yeah, I mean, he's very skilled. LeBron makes these things look really good, honestly. So even when he's bum rushing the lane and running over a defender, it took me a while to see that he's dropping that shoulder down, to see that he's pushing out with his arm, It took me a little while to see those things. So, these are all like really great observations, really great comments. But yeah, guys, we're a little over 2 hours in the live now. I think this is a pretty good stopping point for us. I want to shout out everybody that joined today. Really great audience, really great engagement. I just love talking about sports, and I just really like the vibe that we had today. So thank you all for tuning into Sports Tea and having a chat with me. Oh wait, Jeffrey said one more thing. Olympic medals comes every 4 years for USA team. Easy. It's hard to win an NBA title every 4 years unless your name is Russell, MJ, Kareem, Magic. For sure. Even to repeat in this NBA, in this era, I think is really difficult. We're seeing that most teams can no longer repeat. What it takes, the kind of discipline and hard work that it takes all season long to get there, and then the physicality that comes in the playoffs, it's totally different from regular season. So a lot of teams, they pretty much crumble because the lack of defense that took place in the regular season is no longer the case postseason. So I think and then we see injuries and we see people sitting out games. So it's not easy to repeat. We see that. But thank you so much for your comment, Jeffrey, and everybody else. Shout out to, I see Becca, Sean. Thank you all. Seriously, it was really a pleasure to go live with you guys tonight. So I will be going live again on Friday. I am probably going to talk about Tyreek Booker. I really didn't want to, but it's definitely something that is just weighing on my mind this week. So I'll see you guys on Friday. And yeah. Enjoy the next couple of days. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.